wujud apa? United Nation Organization. Alright, it's supposed to be the champion at that time for some time. Tapi later on, United Nations need to polish up, isn't it? What brings a blunder in the United Nations Organization is the veto power. Alright, veto power. But United Nations lasted a long time. United Nations go and happens to be the champion in international law for a long period of time. Daripada 1945 when it was created sampai hari ini. Alright, a lot of challenge. The challenge in law was that betul ke United Nations ni alright, is representing the world. Betul ke United Nations ni use the source that are legitimate or the source that they favor. Itu yang kita nak sampai dekat kita punya international law. Jadi, for United Nations to strengthen that, they don't work for themselves. They don't work in favor for others, but they work for everyone who are a member. That's why they have, alright, the ICJ. Dekat ICJ dia kata, Section 38, nak tengok source of law, tengok daripada ICJ source of law. Source of law nombor 1, treaty. Carilah you treaty. Alright, treaty go as far as the Treaties of Westphalia. But before that ada treaty tak? Tak ada. Tapi ada cutting edge of ancient law. A lot of situation where, right, the treaties or the customary practice or the principles of civilized nation, itu semua sources of law, and the decision made by court or the resolution made by United Nations themselves, they cannot solve problems. So you have to refer to the ancient system of international law. Alright, banyak berlaku today. Selepas how many years United Nations takes over for the peace, but it managed to bring peace. War ataupun distress, alright, keep popping here and there kan. Alright, ada tapi boleh condone. Jadi you don't send your army anyhow you like, you send your army through the peace mission. You want to sue for these people who are corrupted, or maybe you want to punish for the wrongdoers. You don't do it anymore in the Nuremberg style. You do it in the according to the tribunals of Yugoslavia, for example. Right? Okay. So the culprit still get, law still get. Tapi whose law? Yang itu. Alright. If we are involved in the treaty, then the law are ours. But if we are not involved in the treaty, then the law are theirs. Alright, but there are law that is maintained for everyone to follow or every state to follow. That is the United Nations Charter. Okay, so at the end of the day, alright, all this that you learn through the development, what do they want to bring at the end? Alright, they want to bring the same objective right in the beginning of time. Alright, is harmony. Kenapa bukan peace? They want to bring harmony. So every state can live together. Alright. Jadi dekat modern period bukan ending, right? Okay, they're growing bigger on international law with the creation of United Nations Charter. Dalam United Nations Charter, through the United Nations Organization, they made it compulsory for the state to be independent in the nature of the statehood status, baru boleh jadi member. Alright. Tetapi ada juga state like Israel and Taiwan, alright, that have not completed but still accepted as members. In the beginning, there were only state and international personality of these two sahaja. Masa tu 3, tapi sekarang tinggal 2 je. Alright, okay. Tapi later on, they also accept organization in the form of registered company. Right? International Maritime Organization are parties. Antarctica, it's not a state, is a organization is also a company. Jadi when the company comes into the picture of United Nations organization, the subject is no more attention 100% paid for the states. Tapi how the relationship between the states and the company and the company and the company and the state and the state. All right. Okay. This organization, what law governs them? The source of international law in Article 38, Clause 1, ICJ Statute A, B, C, D. Law of treaties, customary practice, all right. Lepas tu, a principle of civilized nation, judges ruling, books that is leading, and also General Assembly resolution. Jadi can you see, daripada mana semua orang dapat benda ni? Daripada perubahan through all the times up to the time when God are human. Right? Lepas tu baru God are not being seen. Right? Okay, so at the end of the day, have harmony been achieved? Penat you dengar hari ni on this first part kan? Jawapan dia, yes, for a while. Tapi there are certain things that need to be changed. Kenapa? Because those people are in power, now monopolize the power for their benefit again. Macam before World War I, World War II. Ya, Jamila?
Okay, but the thing is that in that Article 38, there's Article 59 as well that we have to look through. Itu cuma applicable and binding for those who actually involved in that treaty. So if you, let's say, if you're not part of the treaties, then you are not bound by it. So macam mana nak synchronize?
Sekejap saya nak tanya dulu. You are looking at what article?
Article yang 59 tu yang
no.
Actually
Article 59 is not the one that we are referring. We're referring to Article 38 Clause 1 ICJ.
Okay, 38 exactly. Sorry. Article 38 tu yang it's only bind by those who actually involved in that treaty. So actually macam
tu. You have a wrong understanding. You have
Okay.
a wrong understanding of Section 38 Clause 1 ICJ statute. Look at the first word there. The word kata, these are how dispute is being solved. When the two country is in dispute, I don't have it. Jamila, you have it. Can you read Section 1 first word? The whole sentence to be for the ABC.
Kena cari dulu because I just recall what I read.
But roughly, the word Article 38 Clause 1 talk about what? Article 38 Clause 1 kata, if ever a state ada dispute, these are what will help them solve the dispute. Itu yang jadikan Article 38 is a source of international law. The first one is look for treaty. But what treaty are you looking for? Either the treaty that is available between the parties or the treaty that is available on the subject matter. The treaty could be treaty today that you sign or treaty that the other party signed or the treaty that is already available in the development of international law yang banyak saya cakap tadi tu. Macam tu. They become the source.
So even if you are not part of the treaties, even you are not signing the treaties, it's also applicable for you as long as actually the situation that you are facing is the same or similar or pari materia with the existing treaties.
Dia macam ni. If you don't sign the treaty is not bound by you. Jadi you kena cari the treaty that the two party sign. Macam tu. Itu maksudnya.
What I mean is that misalnya kata okay, Malaysia we don't have any signing of agreement, let's say contohlah macam apa tu yang bukan ICET, satu lagi tu apa benda yang kita nak join tak join. Okay, let's say we didn't join that, so it's not applicable to us or something.
Kalau it's mandatory for you to sign, you tak sign, it's still applicable to you. You jangan lupa
Okay.
the rules of treaty ni. Satu, it bound on you, not because you sign, you ratify, you tak sign, you tak ratify, it's not bound on you. Bukan gitu. Treaty binding on you bila dia sampai become entered into force. Bila treaty entered into force. Sebab tu dalam treaty ada dua date. Satu, the date that is offered 1931 Montevideo. Satu treaty that is entered into force 1939. Alright, dia macam tu. Bila treaty become entry into force is when the number signing country tak penting. Tapi the number of states that is ratified, bukan ratify, ratifying. Ejaan dia ya lain sikit. Alright, that country ratified that treaty. That treaty is bound to the rest of the world states, whether you sign or you don't sign, whether you ratify or you don't ratify. Let me give you an example. Yang ini ni duduk dekat mana? Ni akta ni duduk dekat mana? Bukan dekat dalam Section 38 Clause 1, tapi duduk dekat dalam Vienna Convention, Law of Treaties. Vienna Convention ni, alright, has been declared to be applicable to all states in the world because you remember to United Nations Charter. Ada 9 principles of United Nations Charter that all states members are bound by. One of it is accepting Vienna Convention Law of Treaties. Dalam Vienna Convention Law of Treaties 1969, it says that the treaty will be enforced throughout the world once it has met the number of ratification on that treaty. The number of that ratification, it's not the same. Treaty Antarctica, alright, need only, 14 country saja ratify. Bukan sign, ratify. Member of UNCLOS need only 88 country saja ratify. Bukan sign, yang sign on the first day of UNCLOS 10 hari bulan Disember 1984 107 country. Tapi yang ratify 88. Lama tu 24 tahun tunggu baru cukup ratification dia. Alright, ratification hit saja the number that is agreed in the treaty, whether you sign or not, whether you ratify or not, it bound by you. Alright, cuma, alright, okay, yang cuma dia macam ni. Cuma bila there is that treaty available to solve the dispute, so you all can refer to. It is best to refer to treaty that have already achieved, alright, entry into force. Instead of referring to the treaty that you sign, belum habis lagi dia punya procedure. Alright, nanti kita belajar law of treaty, Jamila, you will look into that. But if you are reading, you read on the golden rules of treaty. How treaty binds the rest of the country. Let me just give you another example before you say anything. Nak habiskan ayat saya supaya you don't get confused. Look into UNCLOS 1982. On the day it was open for signature, yang 900 orang sign tu, 109 country sign tu, Amerika tak sign. When 88 country sign, negara yang ke-88 sign the treaty, alright, America still tak sign. Bila Amerika tak sign the law of the sea tu 1982, alright, okay, United Nations have asked the questions in the General Assembly. So, kenapa tak, you must know, even though you tak sign, it is now binding throughout the world. So, you have to abide by the ruling. So, in year 2014, barulah ascension. Kalau you tak sign, you kena terima dia. Assent to it, agree to it in 2014 bila Carter come into the picture. But any action in between the year 95, 96, negara yang ke-88 to sign, sampailah kepada 2014 in between that. If America have broke the rules, people can then say that they have not respected the law of the sea. That is the constitution of the ocean. Memang dia ada break certain rules because they claim Titanic ownership. when they were not a member. Tapi before the court comes into the decision, alright, President Carter have already give ascension to the treaty. Ascension is not important. Yang importantnya on every treaty is bila the treaty will be enforced into. So every treaty mesti ada dekat tepi tu entry into force the date. Yes, Jamila, ask question.
I think I mistakenly look at the treaties and the International Court of Justice Article 38. Actually, the thing is not binding, the judicial precedents or something instead of the treaties, I think. Isn't it?
Tak apa, go again. Sebelum you nak tengok dekat ICJ tu, tengok Vienna Convention dulu. Yeah? Alright, but we will have a topic on law of treaty right after kita habis this. Because number 3, I think topic number 3, because kita nak buat source of international law, we look into the golden rules of treaty. Golden rules tu saya panggil. Alright, dia cakap dekat dalam buku tu only the rules on treaty. The rules on treaty, binding dia, macam mana dia binding, macam mana dia affect other states or non-states or non-member or whatever. Alright, bersepah dekat dalam section, dekat dalam the Vienna Convention. So your job is to look into the treaty and identify them. And that's what we are going to do in class. Alright, how it's binding, how you can protect yourself from its binding through the word called reservation. Ada juga perkara macam tu berlaku to a country. A country like Malaysia, they are very clever. When it comes to UNCLOS, we have a reservation. So when it comes to the sea, we are still the masters, just like in the ancient time when we have the maritime code of maritime, Malacca Code of Maritime Affairs. Macam tu. Okay? Boleh?